Okay, so nobody's getting the truth from the mainstream media, folks. It's well past time to open your eyes, your ears, and your mind. Do your own research because something isn't right here. And if you can't see that, you are not paying attention, folks.
It's the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order. A world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations.
So let's look at each one of these and see how we can get this down to zero. Probably one of these numbers is going to have to get pretty near to zero. Now that's back from high school algebra, but let's take a look. First, we've got population. The world today has 6.8 billion people. That's headed up to about 9 billion. Now, if we do a really great job on new vaccines, healthcare, reproductive health services, we could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%.
The important message that we need Australians to get vaccinated as quickly as possible. In line with that, I do encourage all Australians to please go and book your vaccinations as soon as you can if you haven't already done so.
Emma, get away!
When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.
Okay, we need to stand up against this tyranny, folks. Stop giving away your freedoms and liberties, because the more you give up, the more these people will take until you have absolutely nothing left. That's their agenda.
All right, here we are, guys. You've got me and Caz tonight, and yeah, got a little bit of news for you. As you can hear, I'm sort of getting better as time's going on, guys. So thanks again. Just need your prayers and yeah, and your good fortune. That's what will get us through. Now, I think we're all going to need a bit of good fortune coming up, guys, because this is a perfect scenario for the deep state. This this war. Now, from what I'm seeing, and if you would have believed that Trump was a good guy, I think he's still surrounded by a lot of bad people. And I think he's getting a lot of bad information from what I can read. Is he a good guy? I don't know. I don't really care, because it's going to play out how it's going to play out, guys. But with what's going on now, this is a perfect scenario for the deep state players, our Prime Minister, the rest of these goons, all right, to now again start jacking up your fuel, your food. It'll be your interest rates. It'll be everything, guys. Bread, your beer, your cigarettes, all those poisons that you buy down Woolies and Coles, the lot of it. It's all going to go up. So now is the time to endure and overcome, guys, because this is a little taste, I think. I think you're going to push this pretty hard, guys. So I think this is going to be a taste of what's to come. And if you'll have to fall into line so the government can help you. So, yeah, it's interesting times coming up, guys. Anyway, we'll get Caz in, because I can't do too many sentences at once at the moment, guys. I'm having a go, but yeah, thanks, Caz. But yeah, I think some pretty crazy times coming up, Caz.
Well, actually, I've been having a look around, and I've discovered a few things that I think are very interesting, that I think that they're not being very honest with us. But they're not. It's
really?
Something honest is playing. Something the opposite is from what it looks like is playing out at the moment. Just let me do this one last share here. Where's that pesky character Guru or Aussie Insider? There he is.
There he is.
And
he's still out there, even though he's banned. He's got no accounts, but he's still got a couple floating around. I just can't get to him.
Yeah, hang on, let me just go that one.
All
right. There we go.
But yeah, we're
And
pretty prepared, guys. Me and Mel, we're just going to, set sail. We'll stay in touch. We'll do shows. But yeah, if it comes to it, we can eat fish and sail. I'll be surfing in
yeah,
Tahiti or something, I don't know.
well,
Riding
maybe we should. Look,
tidal
maybe we should go to the whole war thing straight away. There's a lot of things that are very no. Let's basically build up to it. I think, yeah.
Yeah,
But
build up to it. Keep the
there's
suspense.
there's stuff that's going on that's very interesting. That's pointing in a completely different direction to what the narrative's going on, and it looks to me a lot like. Well, it looks like to me we've actually won. To tell you the truth. So, but anyway, we'll just go through a few things that I find really interesting. First of all, we've got this. Australia is helping to fund a fleet of electric buses in Wuhan. In Wuhan. Isn't that interesting? We're helping them out.
Yeah. Yeah, of course we are. We're good people over here, mate. We're handing our money around the world, Caz, and yeah.
We've also got, of course, another attack. So an unknown man has allegedly stabbed 2 women in the head, of course. So, which is interesting. You've got some of our newbies, Celine against the machine. She's had a gut swipe at Lydia Thorpe.
Favourite screaming banshee, Lydia Thorpe, is back in headlines again for calling Pauline Hanson's supporters the filth of this country. How is this woman in our parliament? She's nuts.
Oh, well, I've only got a minute to do this speech, but it's very disappointing to see some so-called senators who represent the filth of this country, which is racists out there, that we know contributes to incarceration, contributes to ill health, contributes to so much hurt and division in this country.
Yeah, darling, she's the one causing division, not you calling everyone racist. Now, I'm not in favour of hate speech laws because I think hate speech is subjective, but if there was ever a case for hateful words, surely it's this. And all because Pauline was bringing up very valid points. She was talking about the rates of childhood sexual abuse in Aboriginal communities, things that we know exist, but the activist class seem to ignore that. They'll all stand around and pat each other on the back for giving each other grants to do their welcome to country ceremonies. Yet they completely ignore a very real problem because apparently it's racist. Once again, Pauline was on the money and this absolute idiot shouted her down every chance she got. Here's a tip, Lydia. Your average person in Australia who cares deeply about the country, keep calling them racist and see what happens.
Well, we actually know what's happened because what's happening, John Adams has reported this. So sources within the ALP with access to South Australian polling data tell me that the most surprising shift among voters as we speak is males under 35 shifting from Greens to One Nation.
Well, I hope she's got fireproof shoes because her toes are going to get held to the fire if she happens to pull this off, Caz. A lot of people are going to hold us her account, and I'm sorry, but you can't vote your way out of this, guys. But let them go.
We know what they'll do anyway. But anyway, look.
Yeah.
Now we've got a couple of things. There's a bit of news happening with regards to renewables. Like first of all, Ben Fordham has put this out, and its New South Wales Premier has made a big admission that the landholders will be left to pay for failed renewable projects on their lands. Well, we actually knew that. Yep. Now, there's this information that's coming out about the extent of the solar panels. Look at this.
Beautiful house was your family home. Everything you've worked for your entire life, you've poured into your home. Every home every Australian owns is their castle. And then you find out that a company has come in and has purchased all the land around your home, and you're now going to have solar panels come right up to the edges of your 25-acre block of land where you intended to spend the rest of your life. Just imagine that for a moment, because that's what's going on throughout all of rural Australia right now. We've got Australians, citizens of this country, whose homes are being threatened by industrial renewable energy project. And this one in particular, the company who's going to build this, they haven't offered one scrap of compensation to these people, and neither have they offered to buy this house out. These people are going to end up with their home being valueless, because who's going to want to live in this beautiful house with black glass right up to the edges of its yard?
What about the one in Queensland that blew up, Caz? You know, just opened it up, bang! Off it. We don't hear about that anymore.
Well, the thing is that when there's a bushfire that comes along, they do go up in smoke. But then that sort of stops the investors that put it up because they get the grants. They don't have to pay any maintenance costs, which explains the Brumbies. I'll bet that these are lining up to the Brumbies. Brumbies eat the long grass, guys, just in case you don't know. So that's why they've gone after the Brumbies and not the pigs. The pigs go into the ground and they do roots, or well, actually the goats do roots as well. But they're specifically targeted the Brumbies. Well, the Brumbies, they like long grass. And I think what they're doing is they're basically just fleecing us with all of these grants. Okay, so all of our money is going into these renewable projects. You can guarantee that they're getting kickbacks from somewhere. And then they're just, oh, no, we couldn't have foreseen this bushfire that's just come along. Like, I'm wondering if this is what's going on. Anyway, look, let's get on it. And then in the meantime, we've got all of these, plus the fact that it's prime land, which grows our food. Okay, and now we've actually discovered that we've actually, like, we're I think we carry 12% of the world's international education at the moment. Listen to this.
We're of a country of 26 million people. There are 2.4 million people in this country on temporary visas. We have 800,000 in the country studying here, where there are only 6.4 million international students in the world, according to UNESCO. So we have 12% of the global international student population sitting here in 2 or 3 cities in Australia.
Why on earth do we have that many students in Australia when we're in the middle of the worst housing crisis ever seen? I know why. Because it helps grow the economy. Easy, relentless growth with absolutely no care for Australian citizens being screwed.
So as long as house prices gently drift up and as long as wages are gently suppressed, businesses are happy and the citizens are happy. Most people are happy because 1/3 of people own their own home outright. 1/3 are on a mortgage and they're happy they bought previously because the house prices are gently drifting up. And 1/3 are renters who are a bit unhappy.
So those who already owned property are happy, but those who are renting or trying to buy their own home should be bloody ropeable. It's not their fault that policies have turned the housing market into a speculative play toy for the rich, and it's not their fault that Australia as a country has become obsessed with building wealth through property.
Now, on top of that, the Asian guy, you know, that AI generated avatar that puts out information. Now, some of the information that he does put out is incorrect. And this one I haven't checked, but he did a show the other day and he said that why the international bank's moving. So the Bank of Japan, I think he said Hong Kong HBSC is moving to Australia, and Bank of America are moving to Australia. So very interesting to see what's going on here. So you have all of that going on, and then you've got this situation. This is Pete. I think it's pronounced as Agulas, and he's been investigating the NDIS, and he hasn't been able to release it. So he's found massive amounts of fraud, and he's under legal threats at the moment. So they're trying to silence him. Yeah. So he went there's a lot of stuff. You know how the stuff was going on with the Somalis?
I don't know.
I
do know. Yeah, but I'm not in depth.
No, so Illinois Mars territory, there was a lot of fraud that was found, like Leering Center, great Leering Center. So he started going to the NDIS registered places, and he's discovered similar stuff, and he's put a little bit of it out there, but now he's under legal threat. So incredible what's going on in this country at the moment. And then on top of that,
who's putting under legal threat? The NDIS or the government?
I think it's the NDIS, yeah.
No, I thought into that one. Didn't know about that one, Caz. Well, but I know what's going on with our different breeds in this country getting looked after before the Australians.
Yeah, well, everyone gets looked after before us. And then you've got the return of the ISIS brides. And this is a very interesting take. So I didn't realise this about the law.
Basically outsourcing its diplomacy and foreign policy to private citizens. The Passport Act is quite clear here. Section 32 makes it an offence for someone to be holding or in possession of someone else's passport. Section 37 makes it an offence to carry someone else's passport across an international boundary. Now, clearly, someone has taken these 34 or 35 passports, is in possession of them, who is not the passport holder, has taken them across international boundaries. Those offences carry a maximum penalty of 10 years in jail. So these are very serious offences. And my question is to the Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade and the Foreign Minister, were they aware that they were going to be aiding and assisting the commission of a crime by handing out passports like this?
Gets more interesting all the time, doesn't it?
Well, it does. And then, somebody was lobbying people to investigate the Australians that are involved in the Epstein list. Well, lo and behold, Alex Antic.
Transparency and accountability. If any Australians were involved, even peripherally, we should know. That's why tomorrow I'll be moving for the tabling of all relevant documents from the various departments, including briefings, reports, correspondence and any information shared by foreign governments regarding the involvement of any of the Australians with the Epstein operation. The Australian people have a right to understand the full picture, no matter how uncomfortable it may be. Now let's watch and see what this Senate and this government across here does, and whether the Senate passes or blocks it like it so often does. What on earth could they be trying to hide?
I wonder. I wonder.
I wonder indeed. Now, what's interesting is that there's been very quietly. Okay, so now the Australian government, the Department of Health, so healthy infants, children and adolescents less than 18 years old are not recommended to receive the COVID-19 vaccine. Now, isn't that interesting? Plus, we have Carl Stefanovic having his interview. So,
with it, yeah. He asked some good questions, actually, Valdo.
Well,
the reason being they weren't his questions, so he was actually a bit uncensored, and he was allowed to ask other people's questions.
Well, it's very interesting. There's a lot of interesting stuff that's going on. Now, the reason why that's really interesting at the moment is because of this report, which is actually really quite
today
concerning.
I'll be talking about a study from China where they've identified a coronavirus that has got 100% fatality in mice. Of all the mice that were infected, they all died. Now, this is the paper here. It's a preprint paper. And I must say, I'm a little surprised it's been published. But anyway, let's look at it because it's quite concerning. So we see 100% death rate from a SARS virus. Now, it's actually related to pangolins. So that's where this derived from, this particular virus. But it killed 100% of these transgenic mice, which is really quite concerning. I'll just mention this briefly. So transgenic mice are mice, but they've been given a human gene. And in this case, they've been given the gene for the ACE2 receptor, which of course is the receptor that the SARS virus is fit into. A human gene already, or human gene inserted into them. So SARS coronavirus 2 related pangolin coronavirus. Now, the death seemed to be caused by late stage.
Now, what actually happened is it sort of formed a cold and then it went into the brain. So he actually goes on to say he's surprised that they actually published it. It's
they
concerning.
have to tell us, guys. They have to tell us.
Yeah, well, remember lockstep was that by the time that this truth started coming out about what had happened and that we were vindicated, the conspiracy theorists, then that's when they would release the second one, the real one, because that's when people would have burnout and just ignore it and ignore all the warnings. So we have to keep an eye on these things. We don't live in fear, guys. But it's just very interesting that this should come out at this time. That's all I'm saying.
It is.
So now we have some really crazy, crazy stuff going on that seems to be bending our way. First of all, we have this little drama.
I went to the fundraiser to support my friend Nia Lowy.
All right.
Excuse me, can I interrupt?
I have
There
another.
are photos that are being released of the Secretary as she is testifying from inside this room. Can you please advise me as to whether or not that's permissible and consistent with the rules, particularly given that we have asked for a public hearing? If there are photos that are being released of the Secretary as she is testifying, can you please explain how that
I'm
can
done
occur?
with this. If you guys are doing that, I am done. You can hold me in contempt from now until the cows come home. This is just typical behavior.
He will go off to
Oh, for heaven's sake.
So I would like to understand how that's permissible.
Before the hearing was... It doesn't matter. We all are abiding by the same rules.
I will take that down.
Yeah,
So
well...
I would like to take a break at this moment.
Yeah,
and I'd like to have
I'm
a
done
conversation.
for now.
Go off the record. Very good actor.
Now, isn't that interesting? What's followed is this little tidbit here. Now, this is Paul White, Gold Eagle, has put this out. And he said, Obama's just lawyered up. He's retained a team of 9 criminal defense attorneys, not civil, criminal. He's prepping for 4 federal grand jury subpoenas expected by March 7th. Very fascinating.
I don't think Hillary and Dill actually look like Hillary and Dill. But anyway, that's another thing.
And the amount of telegraphing that's going on as well. Like, she's behaving really badly in apparently a Senate committee hearing. Chucking little tantrums and things like that. Now, what's also interesting is when Bill was shown the evidence, he was flicking through the photos from Epstein Island, and he's smiling. He's like, oh, he's actually enjoying it. And so, I didn't bring that in for tonight because we've just got so much other stuff to cover.
Dill in the spa.
Well, yeah, I think it probably was in the spa, but it's just crazy. I keep thinking it's scripted. I keep thinking, stop trying to fool me. I know this is a play. So what's going on in my head? Anyway, but you've got a lot of the repercussions going along. So Sarah Ferguson's charity has shut down. And it's being linked to missing Romanian kids. And this is before the unsealing of their other stuff. Then you've got this crazy stuff that's going on at the UN.
The Secretary General has, as you know, repeatedly made clear the problem both of non-payment of Jews by member states and the related problem of the UN being forced to repay member states for budget expenses that it does not budget money that it does not spend, so those two factors have put us on an unsustainable trajectory. Although more than 150 member states paid their dues last year, we ended 2025 with a record $1.56 billion in outstanding dues, which is more than double that of the previous year. So unless either the payments come in or we're not compelled to spend to return the monies that we are not able to spend because we didn't receive the budget.
UN, and then look at this, bang bang bang.
9 of the Council's provisional rules of procedure.
She's chairing the UN Security Council.
Wow.
I invite Ms. Rosemary DiCarlo, Under Secretary General of Political and Peace-Building Affairs, to participate in this meeting.
So she's chairing the UN now.
It is so decided.
Well, she's chairing. See, the United States holds the chair. And for some reason, Melania's there chairing it.
Wow.
So, look, there is
what a movie.
Well, this is where I'm coming from. Now, I want to get on to this whole Iran stuff, okay? So let's actually have a look at this. This is a trailer from Wag the Dog, and I want you to pay particular attention to it because you're going to be blown away.
There's a crisis in the White House.
What's the crisis?
And the president's top advisors have been called together.
Oh, jeez.
The sexual misconduct occurred inside the Oval Office.
With the election only days away, how much will this scandal affect the outcome?
The president spent the weekend pressing the flesh. He wasn't campaigning, he was dating, actually.
Now, Washington's top spin doctor.
We can distract the press for 11 days till the election. I think we got a chance.
Has an idea.
We can't afford a war.
We're going to have the appearance of a war.
But he can't pull it off without Hollywood's top producer.
Do I know you? We have some mutual friends in Washington. Why come to me? We want you to produce. You want me to produce your war? Not a war. It's a pageant. We need a theme, a song, some visuals. We need, it's a pageant.
New Line Cinema presents.
How close are you to this? What do you want the kid to say?
All the spectacle.
I know we're all concerned for the president.
I know we're all concerned for the president.
I know that we are all concerned for the president.
He didn't sell the line.
All the drama.
The president's going to go to war with Albania in about 30 minutes.
Albania's hard to ride.
These are chips.
We need it for the armed position on the screen. It'll be a kitten. We'll punch it in later, right?
And all the effects of real war.
Okay, put the village behind her.
Give me some sound of screaming.
Without the casualties.
America has seldom witnessed a more poignant picture.
They used the same process with the last Schwarzenegger movie. You're the man.
Albania, Albania.
That rhymes.
I can't believe it. We forgot a hero. It was like we sent him the Christmas card and we left out the what do you call it? Fruitcake. There you go.
Sergeant Schumann, if I may, welcome to history.
How are you?
Anybody want a beer? Because I could party. When it's cooking, it's cooking.
From Academy Award-winning director Barry Levinson.
When this goes national, I get to put it on my resume?
Actually, no.
What could they do to me?
Take him home to your house and kill you.
Academy Award winner Dustin Hoffman.
This is politics at its finest.
Academy Award winner Robert De Niro.
How would you like an ambassadorship? That's my payoff. Hell, I just do it for a story to tell. Oh, no, you couldn't tell anybody. Listen, I'm just kidding. No, I mean, you couldn't tell. No, it's just it's a pageant. It's a pageant. That's what it is.
Wag the dog. Now, this is where we get into some really interesting stuff. So I've actually done a little bit of hunting around. And because there's both sides are claiming all sorts of stuff. So let's actually look at first of all, the Emiratis.
Many people don't know the difference between the UAE, Abu Dhabi, and Dubai. So the UAE is a country officially called the United Arab Emirates. Located in the Middle East on the Eastern Arabian Peninsula, the country covers about 83,000 square kilometers, which is comparable to Portugal or Austria in size. The UAE is made up of 7 federal territories. They're similar to US states, only here they're called emirates. And that's basically where the name comes from. Each emirate has its own ruler, a sheikh, and power is passed down within the ruling family, essentially like a monarchy. All 7 sheikhs together form the highest governing authority, the Federal Supreme Council, and also elect one of them as president. By tradition, the president is always the Sheikh of Abu Dhabi, the largest emirate, which covers about 85% of the UAE's territory. Abu Dhabi is both an emirate and a city with the same name, and the city is the country's capital. Dubai, on the other hand, is a different emirate, and inside it there is also a city with the same name. Dubai is world famous for its skyline and mega projects, such as the world's tallest skyscraper, the Burj Khalifa, the giant Dubai Mall, almost the size of Vatican City, or even man-made luxury palm-shaped islands.
All right. So that's the place that we're looking at the moment. And Dubai is beautiful and it is large, but it's really not that large. If something was going off, you would know. I mean, the airport is huge. It's like practically a 3-day walk. But, you know, that's because it's they've got, it's just basically a centre, a transition port. So let's have a look at this. First of all, you've got this. This is apparently going off in Dubai.
هذه المشاهد لا تريد الإمارات أن تراها.
Guys, I'm actually scared. I'm actually scared. I'm scared.
I'm actually so scared. I'm in JDC right now and I can see it's not meant to be happening here.
كانت تمول الفتن من بعيد، تشعل الصراعات بالمال والسلاح والميليشيات لتدمير الآخرين.
We'll leave it there, but you get the idea. However, let's have a look at this.
This is Dubai, ladies and gentlemen. The timeline on X and the bots that are posting it are saying one thing, and then me on my balcony in the city, I'm saying something else, right? I mean, you can't make this up. 4 a.m. right now, March 3rd. Skies are clear. I don't hear anything. There's no sirens. There haven't been any sirens. I haven't heard anything all night. I've been posting updates. The bots hate the updates because it goes against their narrative. God bless the UAE, fam.
Very. So you have that. I'm coming to a conclusion in here, everyone. I get that I get that it's a bit frustrating but I just wanted to show you a little bit more of the actual evidence, because you have some really unusual things happening, but it makes sense in the long run.
No,
So
this
you've
is
got
good
this.
because a lot of people are very confused with what's going on, Caz.
Well, that's right. So you have this as being a massive. So Lebanon moves to disarm Hezbollah because in the southern area of Lebanon, that's been a sort of a Hezbollah stronghold, and apparently Israel was bombing it. Now, there's also reports that there's multiple places within the Gulf have actually been targeted and bombed, but you have to be really careful because there was also a video of the Abraham Lincoln being sunk, and it was actually from a game. But I'd seen news sites put it up, so I thought it was legit. So there's a lot of misinformation and disinformation. But this
so
one here
was the other big boat, Caz, with the toilet problem? Was that a real problem?
That I'm not sure about, but like all I know is that the one that they were showing us, but it could be the United States. They may have actually lost the Abraham Lincoln, so they've put up this video as a legitimate one, so that it's delegitimized. Okay, so that they've got a few more days in the narrative war. Like, do you see what I mean? It's hard to see, or it could just be that the other guys have basically put it up. So it's very hard to see, but I actually think that I've come to a few conclusions about it. Now, then you have this. Now, this is, I've not found anything to discredit. There's a whole heap of these videos and I've not found anything to discredit them yet.
Oh my God, here they come. That's right in the center. Another one, and another one. Look at that. The whole wave of them. The whole skyline's lit up.
So there's multiple bombings, it looks like, taking place in Israel. So it looks like Iran is basically concentrating on Israel. My theory, my working theory
at
the moment. Oh, actually, no, I'll have to show you this with Promethean Action. Okay, so these guys are really good. They've been tracking the deep state for numerous years. Just listen to this.
So let's be precise about what Bolton actually said. The Politico reporter asked Bolton, do you think the president and his team have fully considered all the consequences? And Bolton said, it would be different from his normal behavior, to say the least, because he doesn't particularly think strategically. He can swing wildly on a given issue in the course of the day, and he's obviously swung all the way from where he was in the first term to regime change, and he could swing back. But Bolton's fear isn't that Trump acted. His fear is that Trump might not finish the job on Bolton's terms. Because what he means by strategic thinking is committing the U.S. to a fully managed regime change architecture. Transition teams, Western-approved successor networks, in other words, replace one controlled regime with another. And Trump is not using that playbook. Now, here's Ann Applebaum, who's got one of the most severe cases of TDS, writing in The Atlantic on the same weekend. Trump has no plan for the Iranian people. Now, apparently, Ann didn't read what her own publication was about to print, because the man she said had no plan had already agreed to talk to Tehran. So one of the flagship journals of the foreign policy establishment ran both pieces in the same weekend. That tells you everything about the state of expert opinion right now. Then along came Bronwyn Maddox, the director of Chatham House. You don't do regime change from the air. Chatham House has enthusiastically justified every regime change, from Libya, Syria, Iraq to Ukraine, never once worrying about whether it could be done from the air. Their concern isn't that regime change will fail. Their concern is that it's being done without them, without their opposition networks and their transition governments. Bolton, Applebaum, Chatham House, they're all standing outside the room, and they can't even find the door. The old players are gone. The Bolton regime change architecture doesn't apply to a leadership that wasn't part of the old game. Iran's new leadership is calling Washington because Washington is the only party that actually changed anything. The British have played the great game in the shadows for over 100 years. Now it's in the open, and it's being
They put out some really good stuff, and they were saying how their financials been backed by the British imperial system. So then you have this. It's all going somewhere, guys. I know that seems a bit like a bit of loose dots here. So this is your US Homeland Security News. Update: more terrorist attacks in the homeland. 13 people have been shot. I think, I don't think. What I'm wondering is if there's not some sort of deal behind the scenes. It looks to me that the bad guys are being taken out. So Hezbollah, it just looks to me like somebody's going, okay, well, you bomb these guys, you bomb these guys. And remember, we've already been through the situation where, yes, Trump, yeah, you have to bomb Syria. Yeah, okay, I'm going to bomb Syria. And then he went, and so they dropped a bomb in a field about 25 miles out of town. So, and then the headlines went with Trump bombs Syria. But I think that it looks like so the Emiratis, for example, when they got together, they got all the Emiratis together and they said to them, come up with a moderate style of Islam that you all agree with. Okay, that was only rule. It looks to me like everybody's coordinating behind the scenes to take out the radicals on all sides. It looks to me like that the radicals within the small little state, surrounded by everybody that has a blue and white flag, looks to me like the radicals are being taken out there. It looks to me like the radicals are being taken out with the. It looks like it's all like there's something coordinated, or even if it's real, but it looks like there's all of these coordinated things going on to basically rid the problematic areas. So that's
the game's being played. They're saying, "Oh, yeah, Trump's got no idea what he's doing. This, that, and the other." You know what I mean?
No, he knows exactly what he's doing, and he plays these people acting dumb. I'm convinced of it, just to flush them out. Also, what's being flushed out at the moment is all of the people are being flushed out. In game theory, you go along as though nothing's happened, okay, and then let everyone expose themselves, because then the people become confident, and so they expose themselves. And it looks to me like that's exactly what's going on. It looks to me like everyone's being exposed with regards to, it looks to me like it's a great flushing out, especially like with these accusations with the Epstein files, with Trump being in them. I did massive amounts of research on Trump in the early days, and I couldn't find anything. The only thing that I found was there was at one stage there were like 26 accusations. All of them, or I think nearly all of them, were being paid. They got a substantial amount out of the Democratic slush fund. Well, if the Democrats had this kind of material, why didn't they come forward with it? You also have the mafia. The guy that was sent out to
the only bloke they couldn't buy. Yeah, Trump was the only bloke they couldn't buy.
Yeah, that's it. And he was incorruptible, and they run pretty good honeypots too. By the way, the mafia do. You also have the situation with Jeffrey Epstein, and when he was responding to his lawyer, and his lawyer said, "Have you got anything on him?" And he goes, "No." So we remember that James Comey's daughter, Maureen Comey, was head of the FBI in New York, and they had those Epstein documents for 4 years. So have the Epstein documents been manipulated to put him in? And if not, like, I mean, if it's legit that he's in there, like, yeah, we want him put on trial, absolutely, for sure. But it's just there's a lot of crazy things going on. But the more I'm looking at this Iran situation, the more I'm thinking, no, like, I get, but the situation does seem to be very real in Israel. It does look like Haifa, Tel Aviv, basically, yeah, they've been hammered by the looks of it.
Yeah, well, it does look like that, but we were showing pictures of Ukraine like that, Kaz, and then we saw people going live, and they're out in restaurants, luxury cars parked on the street, and they're talking to you from Ukraine. Like, hello.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what do you believe and what don't you believe? I don't know.
Jim Willey had reported that that the Russians had won the war 2 or 3 years ago, and that they were basically play acting to drain all of the money from the drain all of the money, which is interesting. And now there's something else that happened along the lines of that too, because I know that they closed down, they've raided, and they found a whole heap of children that were being trafficked. And then I just saw something, I think it was today, where Zelensky has basically said that children, or that that the state can pick up children for protection. So it's interesting because, like, what are they desperate for children because they've run out? Because they can't, like, they've run out of the ones that they do. So look, all I know is that there's a lot of really interesting stuff going on at the moment. But from what I've been able to glean, that's what I actually think could be going on. And just a last little bit of funny, here it is. We've got this is Donald Trump's parody account, and he's got, the whole world is texting us to take out their leaders now.
Anyone listening to Sasha's interview, Belinda saying, no, I haven't. Belinda, I haven't seen that, mate.
No, I haven't. I have listened to Derek Johnson, and he's doing the whole law of war thing. And I actually, like, I'm inclined to actually sway towards his belief. I think that it actually is as complete as what he's saying. Also, Josh Reed and Alpha Warrior have done a really great show breaking down all of the Q drops and how they relate to it all. And yeah, it's pretty amazing. Like, I mean, we've had confirmation now that the Q operation is a real operation through Donald Trump and the media itself. They've actually basically been reporting it. So
yeah, it's one hell of a wild ride.
It is. All right, so we're going to be taken out by Australia My Home is the title of the song, and it's by Rocking Housewives. So Dave, if you would like to wrap up and close the show, I'll hit play.
Yeah, just thanks for viewing, guys. Share it out, get it out and around. We got some good stuff coming up next Monday night. I don't know what we're doing the rest of the week yet, guys. We'll make up our mind. One more show, I think, but next Monday night, we're going to have Glenn Fisher on. So yeah, I'll get Mel to knock that out so we can all share it around. We'll get it out early. Apart from that, guys, interesting times. All right, but don't forget, this is all deception. This is all to keep you amused, all right, and to keep your eye off what you should be worrying about. And I told you 1,000 times what that is. So happy enduring and overcoming. See a little tough weeks, I think, or maybe a tough month or so coming up, guys. This is a test to see how we go. All right, good night. Thanks, Kaz. Thanks, Mel. Appreciate you guys. Good night.
Bye.